never talked to them boys that sat on the benches. I was in the game on 4th and inches.
What is, can you hear me? Let's do this mic check real quick. You could probably hear the game in the back. Hold on. Okay, I sound good. What is going on? Florida State family, Seminole Nation, and the 863 tribe. Episode 60. As you can hear, yes, I do have the Virginia-Syracuse game on in the back. It's actually a pretty good game, man. Pretty good game. I think people are overhyping Syracuse, but hey, it is what it is. Episode 60, the Hangover. We hit a good old round 60, episode 60. I wanted to delay it to today because I was hoping we had some good news to talk about, and oh, do we ever. But we're going to preview this Boston College game, what to expect, give my predictions, and of course, the news of the day. When's the last time we had a 5-star receiver commit to Florida State? Well, damn it, we got one today, folks. Let me turn this down a little bit because it's kind of bothering me. Whoops, turn that down a little bit. There we go. Yeah, Syracuse is beatable, guys, but we'll leave Syracuse for another day, another show. As always, it's your boy POLK over here on 863 Seminole TV, a.k.a. a.k.a. the goddamn truth. And I don't even know where to begin. We're going to begin with Hakeem, and then we'll get into Boston College to end things out. But I welcome you guys on this Friday night. Thanks you for chilling with me. Of course, you see I'm not in the studio. Instead, we are out and about. I'm always on a business trip, as they say. So that's where I'm at in downtown Austin, Texas. So I'm out here. And hit that like button, guys. Subscribe if you are not. And share the videos. Let them know. 863 Seminole TV is live. And we about to get it cooking like we always do. I mean, hey, like I say, man, the most interactive YouTube channel for the Florida State faithful. But as always, before we get into any of that, it's roll call time. Get in them comments and let me know you in the building. And what are you drinking tonight on this Friday night? Everybody should be having a victory drink. Everybody should be having a victory drink tonight. But let's not waste any more time. Chris Robinson says, Orlando on the check-in. I can always count on Chris to be in the building. Boxing Monster, member of the 863 tribe. Mama. Wayne Stamball, Tyler Hedden, member of the 860 tribe. The Land 216 says, Cleveland, Ohio on the check-in. Anthony Cheers, Mayan King. Hypnotic, Right Way. Marcus Wright. FSU, Tony, member of the 863 tribe. Randy Yates, Priscilla Chestnuts. Marcus Lewis, member of the 863 tribe. FSU Rose, member of the 860 tribe. Brandon Brazier, Nicholas Johns, Belief Beats TV. Matthew Rawson, VJ, member of the 860 tribe. Nicholas Johns, RD. Vontae, BB, all in the building. Victory Water, Sweet Tea. Buffalo Trace in the Glass, Ice Coast Modelo, Montre in the building. Me, I'm not drinking anything. I probably should have went to the bar and got me a little something, but decided not to. Boxing Monster says he's on the tequila straight out the bottle, 1800 dark. Did he pick that off? Virginia might have got an interception here. Enzo, our Louisville faithful in the building. Jack and Cranberry, Believe Beats. That's what's up. Let's start off with the news that everybody's aware of by now, man. At about 2 o'clock, 5-star wide receiver. Let's just put it like this, guys. That was one of the most, and I'm not just saying this because he committed to Florida State. That was one of the most elaborate, well put together recruitment announcements, commitment announcements that I think I've seen. That for everything from the hat cases, which I thought was a really cool way to go about it, to the playing with people's emotions, to even, I mean, you know, let's keep it honest. Even the way he talked about the team he ended up not picking, but just showing a level of respect. I thought that was pretty cool of him and classy of him to say, you know, I ain't going to disrespect them. They gave me my first offer. And then he brings out the GOAT. He brought out the GOAT for his commitment, the fireworks, Snoop minutes. I mean, that was one of the best commitment videos or ceremonies that I've seen in a long time. I really liked how they did it, how they handled it. I thought it was pretty dope. Obviously, he's a great player, and we'll get to that. I just want to talk about the actual commitment itself. I thought it was, you know, I think regardless of where he went, the way he did it, I thought was cool. Like sometimes these kids can go overboard and try to do too much. I just thought it was cool the way he did it, man. I really did. I thought it was cool the way he did it. I thought it was cool. Again, he showed nothing but class. He almost, I know every FSU fan almost shit bricks when he threw that hat. But he came back with the jersey, the custom jersey at that. So you can't do nothing but love the way he did that. And again, then he brings out the GOAT. Bruh, you know how I am. You know how I feel about the GOAT. So Hakeem has already became my favorite FSU player, and he ain't played a snap for us. And of course, we still got to get him to sign on that dotted line at the end of the day. But right now, we know how this thing goes. We know recruiting is a fluid process. Anything can happen in recruitment, but you got to feel good if you're a Florida State fan right now. I don't believe the recruitment's closed. I think he said as much. I didn't listen to the entire interview. I actually didn't even watch the interview live because I was driving. I just saw the part where he picked us and all that stuff. I don't know what he said after making his pick. I don't know what he said in that interview, but I heard he said something to the likes of, you know, his recruitment's not necessarily done. He might still be taking visits and all those good things, and he should enjoy the process all the way to the end. FSU, as long as we handle our business, I don't think it's going to matter, right? You have to handle business. It's obviously family wants him here. I think ultimately he wants to be here. I think Johnny Wilson having that game against Louisville may have really cemented things, man. To be honest with you, Pookie Wilson going for 100 against LSU. Johnny going for $150 or whatever it was he went for against Louisville. I think he saw the production these receivers are starting to put together, and I think that helped tip the scale. You know, he always wanted to be a Nole, but he said himself when he was here in the, I want to say, when was he here? I think it was after spring. It was in the fall when they interviewed him. I saw that interview. Might have been his fall visit. It could have been the spring. I don't remember the exact timeline. But the last interview I did see from Hakeem, he basically, without really saying it, but he all but said, like, he wants to be a Nole. He would be a Nole, but he had to see, right? He had to see how this team looked on field. And I think the receiver play has done a complete 180 from last year. And I think that has a lot to do with Hakeem. Um, and you gotta love it, man. You got to love it. And I'm excited. I know I'm excited for him. Obviously we're excited to have him. You got to see what that does in the rest of the recruiting cycle. FSU's got to be working on some type of quarterback option here in recruitment. Got to be working to flip somebody. They got to be working to obviously at the portal's always in play, as we know. Like there will be names in the portal when this thing is all said and done. Do you want to go that route? I'm not necessarily against it, but I also think when it comes to that quarterback position, you probably want to try to get you a guy at a high school. So I think that's probably got to be where they're working for as far as offensively, because offensively, they're putting together a hell of a class on that offensive side of the ball. All it's missing is a quarterback. But you look at that offensive line with your two guys who Rod Current, he's still committed until he decommits. Again, I don't care about all the rumors until he decommits, and it's hard for me to see him watching the Gators and thinking, yeah, that's where I want to go. Obviously, I'm not the young man. I can't make a pick for him. But I don't know how you watch that and say, yeah, I want to go over there and play for the Gators. Obviously, Simmons leading charge there at tackle. The fact that Atkins has a couple more guys in the chamber that I think we might pull out here on that offensive line. We got a 4-star running back. You already got 2 good complementary receivers. You add the 5-star guy. I mean, offensively, man, they putting together a class, guys. They got to let's get that quarterback. You know, we had Chris. He decides to go elsewhere. Funny how that recruitment turned out. Remember his dad on the Spaces telling all those lies? That guys like Jaylen Brown and Hakeem Williams was waiting to see what Chris Parsons was going to do. Well, it don't look like they care too much what Chris Parsons ended up doing. He went to Mississippi State. One's at LSU for the time being, and one's at Florida State for the time being. So we got to find a quarterback to lead this offense into the future. We got a pretty good guy in the 24 class, but obviously that's 2 years away. Let's get one. Let's get one in this class. But you got to be happy with what they're doing on the trail as far as offensively and defensively. Defensively, you know, we're sitting in a good spot. We sit in a good spot. 16, I believe, is our current updated ranking, man. We sit in a good spot. You got to feel good. You're 3-0, should be 4-0. Coming up after this weekend, going into that big 3 stretch that we talked about. And yeah, man, there's a couple names that I believe Jordan Hall is going to be at the Boston College game. Big time. Got to get him. Y'all know how I feel about Jordan Hall. You know how I feel about the DJ Chesters. Like, there's some big time guys left on that board, man. And if we can get them, you know, all that, you know, what do we always say? Games have to be played. All that preseason talk's awesome. But the games got to be played, folks. The games got to be played. And you're seeing now, when you look competent on the football field, the recruits will come. The recruits will come. So before we get into the Boston College stuff, let's hit the comments and see what y'all are talking about in terms of Hakeem and where that goes. Let's go to see where I want to start. Mr. H says, what's happening, champ? Dugans got him one. I tell you, I said, if Dugans lands Hakeem, I ain't got nothing else to say. His receivers are putting up big time yards. I mean, we had Portier week 1 go for 80 something, and then he had 1 and 2 touchdowns. Pokey comes back the next week over 102 touchdowns. Then you got Johnny over 150 and 2 touchdowns. The receivers are putting in work. His receivers are producing on the field, and now it looks like this man is producing on the recruiting trail. Shout out to Ron Dugans, bro. I don't have nothing negative to say. Hypnotic says, yeah, that was classy. BB said that was a great get. When he first threw that hat, I was thinking, not again. Hey, can I be honest with y'all, NK? Again, I didn't watch the video live, so it didn't have the same effect for me. Because by the time I watched the video, I had already knew he committed. But watching the video, I couldn't help but think, this man's gonna bring a JSU jersey from out the back, bro. Like I was like, this man's gonna bring a J. How wild would that be? That's just something that kind of crossed my mind. I think there was definitely some shots at Hunter. But hey, we don't have to talk about him. He's doing his thing. Actually, I think he's hurt right now for JSU. Not 100% sure, but what's up? I think this showed a lot about the kid's character. Dugan's got him one. I agree. I think he got to, again, just, I think regardless of where he went, guys, I think he really showed, I think that was one of the better commitments I've seen. He just handled he didn't disrespect anybody and then, all the theatrics that came with it. I thought it was pretty good. Pretty good. VJ says he said he has two more officials. One more to A&M, which that way that offensive looking. The only thing that would worry me about A&M is obviously the bag man. How much are they willing to try to pay for him? But from an offensive production standpoint, why the hell would you choose to go to A&M? And again, from a Jimbo standpoint, name me the last time he's put a receiver in any position to be any good. So A&M wouldn't worry me. Honestly, if you're a Florida State fan, you should be worried only about Miami. Obviously, he has some sentiment there. Like he obviously has some that's close to home. I believe he's a Broward native. So he's not quite 305, but I mean Broward's right in the same area, right? I believe so obviously he probably has some sentiment to wanting to stay home, maybe. I think he does respect Miami and its staff. That's what I got out of the commitment. So if you're a Florida State fan, that's the only thing I would worry about. But then you watch Miami's offense and you say to yourself, well, okay. So again, Miami would be the one thing I would not worry about A&M personally. But anytime a team can throw around that type of money, I think A&M is probably always going to be in the ballpark, right? And you can never count out a Georgia or Bama, right? You can never count that out. So we'll see what happens. We'll see what happens there. Baltimore says, TAMU fans are crying and shitting on Jimbo for losing out. That's going to be a theme all season, man. I think A&M is going to lose a few more games than people think. I'm not saying they won't miss. I'm not saying they're going to miss a bowl game or anything crazy like that. But it wouldn't surprise me if A&M was a 4 or 5 loss team. He misspoke about A&M. Use his official for the Miami game. He might visit College Station, but it won't be an official. Dre, Hakeem, and Goldie. All of those 3 guys are looking pretty good, especially Jacobs, man. Jacobs is killing it this year if you guys haven't been paying attention to him in high school. He probably gets his 4-star this year. Vandarius Jacobs probably gets his 4-star this year. We're going to talk about that, Mayan King. Kearney will be at the game tomorrow. That's awesome to hear. Chester, you already know. That's what I need. Apparently, this class wasn't dead after all. Absolutely. Wanda says it's official that he goes to FSU. Well, and nothing's official to National Signing Day or the early signing period, Wanda, but he has committed to the good guys. There's over 50 recruits coming to the game tomorrow, which is huge for Boston College. So you got to show up and show out. But again, we're going to get to that Boston College game. I just want to get through the comments, and then we're going to get in Boston College. We're going to have some scholarships for the portal. Going to have to reload some seasoned talent at linebacker. Well, Bethune and Deloach, both of those guys might go pro, but they also both have a year of eligibility. There's a chance that they come back. But Deloach, after that Louisville game in the Cunningham did what he did because electric runners at the quarterback position, they're gonna get theirs. But Bethune caught a lot of national attention with the way he spied Cunningham in that game. And did I say Bethune or Deloach? I meant Deloach garnered a lot of national attention in that game. Deloach, after this season, barring like a drastic fall off, Deloach's stock might be as high as it's ever been. So you're right. We probably have to hit the portal for linebackers because Probably don't want to. I mean, we'll see what happens with Blake, but you probably don't want to play Blake Nicholson year one. Don't know, will Omar Graham be ready year two? You are getting Steven Dix. I still think he's limited. You have at least DJ Lundy, but I still think DJ Lundy's limited. Gainer's gone after this year. So, yeah, got to hit that portal for that backer room. O-line, I'm never against adding an O-lineman in the portal, but the way you're recruiting it, you don't have to address unless those guys that you recruited aren't quite developing at the rate they need it to be. And, yeah, I can see you replacing because you're going to lose Coop. You're going to lose Lovett the end of this year. Would not hurt to take a tackle, a D tackle in that transfer portal. Absolutely. Hakeem's commitment video was for sure one of the most entertaining. Absolutely, Enzo. Winston Wright will probably be back next year for the simple fact he's already missed 3 games. You may or may not see him play tomorrow. I think you will see him play against Wake, but I mean that's 4 games that he's missed. Unless he tears it the rest of the way, Winston Wright probably comes back next year. I wouldn't call him the GOAT, but shout out to Ron. Chris Robinson, appreciate you with the $19.99, the $20 donation. He says, have a drink on me. Let's go. Hey, thank you, sir. I will be sure to do that.
Get more money. Get more money.
I talked about that in the last live stream I did. So if you didn't check that out, go check that out. And I gave all my thoughts on Northville going to ASU. These kids want to play for the offense that's productive. No, I agree. I'm one of the people that have been really steadfast on that NIL is not the main contributor. People think it is in recruiting. With that said, everybody comes from a different background. Everybody comes from a different circumstance. Some of these young men might be looking to cash a check. Not all of them. Regardless, when A&M has a history of throwing money, depending on what they throw, maybe it's hard for Hakeem to say no to that. That's why I would always want to say keep A&M in the background. Can I change my nickname back to POLK? Why? I like 863 Seminole TV. That's just me though. I'm gonna keep it. You guys can still call me POLK. I still go by that as my on-screen name. But nah, I like 863 Seminole TV. He's a different kid, along with Powers down here. Tried to have him transfer to a bigger school. Yeah, that's true too. I heard the story of him staying at his high school and all that stuff. So yep, I'm with you there, man. I'm with you there. VJ with a 20. He says, a dub for P Dub. You ask and you shall receive. I appreciate the 20, big bruh. And how could you not do P Dub when you had P Dub involved in one of the big time commitments of the year?
Get more money. Get more money.
So let's get to the Boston College conversation. So I pretty much made pretty much kind of came off as like I'm not really invested in this game. Like I hear what people say. Boston College plays is tough and all those good things. You're not wrong. Boston College isn't a good team, bro. So for me, it's like, again, one of the reasons why Boston College has historically been one of the tougher teams for Florida State is because their trenches are usually very solid, if not really good. Boston Colleges, historically, they have a big running back playing behind a big O-line, and they can kind of dictate pace of game because they can run that thing. That is not the case this year. And because of that, because their O-line is in such shambles, I really am not worried about this game come tomorrow. I believe if this team is, from what I've seen, and if this team is getting to where I believe they should be, this game should not be in doubt. I won't go as far as to say this game shouldn't be close because I'm going to be very honest with you. I would not play Jordan. I would play Tate. With that said, because I would play Tate, the game will be, in my opinion, like if Travis was definitively starting, and he might, I'm just saying what I would do. I would play Tate Rodemaker. I would not risk Travis. I want Travis healthy for Wake Forest, right? I want Travis healthy for Wake. So with that said, I'm playing Tate. And this is not a knock on Tate per se, but I am keeping the ball out of his hands as much as possible in this game. I'm lining up, I'm running the ball, and I am going to – oh, that was a terrible pass. That was a good play by the safety, though. Safety baited him on that pick. But I would keep the ball out of Tate's hand. I would do something very similar to what you did in that second half of the Louisville game. If you're going to throw it, quick passes. Don't give Tate a lot of time to have to think about too much, right? Quick passes. Yeah, that was a good bait, man. That's number 8 baited the quarterback right there. Shout out to 8. And I would run the ball. I would line up, run the ball as much. Each running back should get at least 10 carries and get out of there, burn clock, get out of there as fast as possible, and get out of there healthy. That's what I would do. Okay, I would take my shots with Tate on the play action. If you can run the ball how I think you should be able to run the ball, play action should be effective. I think Boston College will play a similar defense to what Louisville did because a lot of these teams, especially if Tate's back there, you're going to make them throw the ball. You're going to make Tate prove that he can throw the ball and win. So I expect a lot of one-on-one coverage on the outside. Probably expect your safeties to be in the box closer to the line of scrimmage in this game. So I think Tate's going to have his chances. Johnny's going to have his opportunities. Malik, all those guys, Ontario, all these guys are going to have their one-on-one opportunities. And because of that, I do think you take your shots, but run the ball some more, get out of here healthy. Let's not prolong this game. Let's not make this game anything too crazy, right? Get out of there healthy. And, with all that being said, again, I don't know if there's too much to review. Like I don't think you really need to go in depth about too much. So I can give you my prediction just off the bat. I don't think it's gonna be, this big. I'll say this: I still think we are ways away. Like we did the same thing with Louisville. A lot of people were predicting this 30-something to 14 game, and I'm not there yet. So I don't think we're going to score a lot of points in this game. I think we'll score about 24. Yeah, so I have Fitz maybe hitting one field goal. I mean, he's home. I think he should be able to hit a field goal here. I would have Florida State scored about 24, maybe 2 touchdowns on the ground and 1 through the air. Again, I don't want Tate putting us in bad situations. I'm not completely sold on Rodemaker. I took him out of the doghouse, right? He's no longer the spoiled rat meat. He's no longer in that area, but at the same time, you got to do more than one half of football to really let me have faith in you. Good one half of football. Let's build on it, Tate. Let's build on it. But I'm not going to get crazy and make it seem like Tate's going to go out here and tear it up. We're going to put 35, 38 points on the board. I'm thinking more like Tate throws a touchdown, you run for another 2, get a field goal. And then Boston College gets I'm thinking a 24-13 type of game personally. You give up maybe 1 touchdown and they get a couple field goals, right? So that's what I'm looking at this game. Again, not a lot to go over because I don't know. I mean, where does Boston College have the edge? Maybe with Flowers at receiver, but the quarterback hasn't been all of that. And one of the reasons why the quarterback hasn't been all of that is their O-line can't block, Their O-line can't block. And that's all. Nicholas had a great comment, I think. Virginia Tech's not a good team, guys. Virginia Tech's not a good team. 37-10. I'm with you. Virginia Tech's not a good team. So for me, I'm not with you on the score, but that's just because I think if you go into this game, you should have a certain game plan, right? But I'm not, Boston College doesn't worry me, guys. It doesn't worry me. I don't really know how else to put it. There's not a position on that football field where Boston College has the edge. And yes, I think you can do all of this without Verse. I wouldn't play Verse. I wouldn't play Lovett. I wouldn't play Robert Scott. Anybody that's dealing with some type of injury or lingering injury, you want them healthy for this 3-game stretch. This 3-game stretch is going to solidify or show this team as a fraud. I said it before and I'll say it again. You go 0-3 against Wake, NC State, and Clemson. You're right. You're Virginia. You're Syracuse. You're Virginia Tech. You're right in that mold. You're no better than any of those teams. You're just a middle of the pack ACC team that you can beat up on the average teams, but you can't go and beat up on the good teams. That does nothing for me. I don't think that does anybody for any of the recruits. That's not a good look to go 0-3 there. Just so have guys healthy for this stretch because this stretch is crucial. 2-1 would be absolutely amazing. 3-0 obviously is you go 3-0, and boy are the lies coming, and they might not even be lies at that point. You go 3-0 in that stretch, and you're talking about wow, right? You're talking about wow. I don't see 3-0, but honestly, 2-1. Take care of home. I said it last stream. I'll say it again. Take care of home field. You go 2-1. And I said it and I stand by it. At least win one. At worst, win one of this 3-game stretch. At worst. I can live with it. I will not be ecstatic about it. But you gotta win at least one of these guys. Because you win one, you're still 5-2 coming out of that. We can work with 5-2. You 5-2 coming out of that with Georgia Tech and Louisiana and Syracuse and Florida and Miami left, bro. I can get 3-4 more wins, I think, there, right? I can get 3 or 4 more wins. But I think the fact that, you probably won't play some of your better players. I think the fact that you got Tate still. I think you're going to play a little bit of a conservative game maybe, which running is our best attribute anyway. So I don't, can't be against running the ball, right? Yeah, man, I don't expect any kind of a crazy scoring game. Get out of there 24-13 and get ready for Wake Forest, where everybody should come back healthy, and you probably add Winston right to the mix there. And now you can really see what this wide receiver room is cooking with, right? You can really see it. But let's go to I've talked enough, I think, and I see the comment section moving, so we'll see what y'all got. Since we are not 100% healthy, I just want to win. If we were at 100%, I would like to have a halftime and drive in the second half. I mean, even if we were 100% healthy, I don't know if we see that type of a game. VJ and a lot of guys in the comments, Florida State's not in this. They're not at this position yet where we're blowing teams out and playing our second string guys yet. Like, I know that's where we want to be. That's where every team wants to be, right? And that 13 team, they did it like no one we've ever seen, right? Games were literally over by halftime. We're not in that. We're not in that position. Even 100% healthy, I don't think we're in a position where we're playing guys. Even like some of those guys that we want to get them as many reps as possible too. Some of those guys are still growing, right? We're not in the position, I think, to be talking about playing guys in the second half against a Duquesne, yeah, but against a Power 5 team, even one that's not very good in Boston College, I don't know if we're there yet. I don't know if we're there yet. Briley says, do you expect to see more blitzing from our defense? Or do you think we stay in that too high shell? I'm trying to get home with 4. I think our D would benefit from more aggressive game. I agree with you, especially with Verse being out, right? You're gonna have to generate a pass rush. Verse is your best natural pass rusher. The other defensive ends are pretty good, but they do other things besides rush the passer. I would like to see what Patrick Payton would do. One of the things I haven't talked about, I would move with Lovett being out. I would move Briggs inside, play alongside Coop. We know Briggs can play inside. That's where he spent most of his time anyway. And he's honestly been more of an effective player on the inside than he's been at defensive end. I would put Briggs inside next to Coop, gives you more of that defensive tackle depth. And, man, throw Patrick Payton against this walk-on freshman or whatever they got. I don't know if he's a freshman, but this walk-on, I know he's a walk-on. Man, put Patrick Payton is going to be the player we hope he can develop to be. He should be able to handle a walk-on, right? So, and then, of course, like you were saying, dial up a few blitzes with Deloach and Bethune, and even with some of your DBs off the edge. And let's get some pressure. Let's not sit back in some soft coverage and let these guys get some confidence on us. I'm with you there. I see No Power says, I hope we see Duffy in the second half. See, I disagree. Tate Rodemaker showed you in the second half against Louisville that he has something. I don't know what it is. He's not complete. Again, he's not spoiled rat meat, right? He's not spoiled rat meat. So he has something, he has something to work with. So in that case, Rodemaker needs all the reps he can get. By some crazy chance that you're up 35 at half, which I, again, don't believe. I would probably still play Tate. I would still play Tate, right? Tate needs all the reps he can get. So I would still play him. Watch we have a nail biter. I hope not. But then again, if we win, I'm not worried. Been hearing y'all complaining about Ron. When he was at Louisville, all our receivers were beasts. Hands, routes, blocking. Well, I think Miami fans have a different opinion about Dugans than, Florida State fans up until today have had a different opinion about Ron Dugans, but I'm glad he was doing good for y'all. Terrence says, what's up, Terrence? He says, I want to see 250 yards rushing. I mean, yeah, we can see that. I think we can definitely crack 200, but I'm with you. Jason says it's a trap game. If this team is focused and sharp, then I'm hoping I'm hopping on. So Boston College is going to make you hop on the North bandwagon fully. Interesting. That's interesting. I think it would work if Mike Norvell put together a Wildcat package for Travis J this game. Man, y'all have wanted Travis J at quarterback for the last 3 years, and y'all will not let that go. I'm going to say that we never see it, but we'll see. Boston College has 3 walk-ons starting on that old line. Sitting versus Love, it won't hurt him. Gaynor is back. Good point from Nicholas. Another good point from Nicholas. Gaynor is back. Yes, he is. I don't know when he was. Maybe he was there when Charlie Strong was there. I'm not honestly, I don't know. I'm not sure. But I'll take a Louisville fan for it if he say Dugan's coach there. I low-key want to see Virginia win. And yeah, I hope to see Gaynor off the edge. So we can agree there with Gaynor coming back. We all don't really think he's really that stand-up linebacker. But again, against these walk-ons, man, put Gaynor on the edge. Get Patrick Payton out there. You can go a little bit into your rotation. Byron Turner and these guys, they should be able to work against some walk-ons. If you got 3 walk-ons on your O-line, your RD tackle should be able to work too. So we again, that's why I say I'm not too worried about this game, man. There you go. 99 is like an all-around football player. I remember last year 99 was killing Miami. But yeah, we can kind of go into the depth here and get some guys some playing time on the defensive side of the ball. Personally, I wouldn't be against that. Win the game first. Do we see a new kick? I don't think so. I think we got another kicker, but he's a walk-on, and I think if he was a legit option, we would have seen him already. But Unfortunately, guys, we might just have to stick with Fitz. Nothing about BC makes me a Norvell fan, but the fact that it's a trap game. So let's see how he gets his team ready, focus, and goes home with the win. Okay. I don't know if it's really a trap game. Maybe I'm the only one who don't think it's I don't think that is a trap game. I don't think this BC. I guess just from history, I guess you could make this a trap game. I guess, but again, man, the BC teams. This is not the BC teams. Oh, his knee was down. Ooh, that was close. Maybe when he actually secured the ball, his knee's up, but his knee was initially down. What do you guys think? If you're watching the game, what do you guys think? But I don't think it's a trap game. Like I was about to say, historically, this is not the same. Historically, the reason why Boston College has always been a tough game, again, historically, Boston College is like Boston College to the ACC is like Wisconsin of the big. Always big, corn-fed country boys. In this case, probably Midwest boys on that offensive line, right? They always got them big offensive linemen. They always got a big running back, like Wisconsin, right? Wisconsin always has the running backs and O linemen. Boston College has been like Wisconsin light in recent years, where they do pretty much the same kind of philosophy. Big O linemen, running backs. That's kind of why they've been able to be good over the past. Good against us, I think. The fact that they can compete in the trenches gives them a chance. But this year, I don't see that. And because I don't see that, I know 24-13 doesn't sound like a dominant game, but again, the score won't. To me, the score won't indicate the way the game plays out. To me, I don't think this team can compete in the trenches. I think they'll pop a pass maybe. With the way our defense is called, we tend to let teams off the hook in the passing game. So there's that. There's things Adam Fuller's really got to improve on. I'm not going to come too down on Adam Fuller, because one thing that people aren't saying to Adam Fuller's credit is in 2 of the 3 games this year, the defense has sealed the game. Now, I know they almost gave it up against LSU, and can you really say the defense has sealed the game against LSU when it was the special teams? But you know what I'm saying? And then they sealed the game against Louisville. So, yes, Fuller's got to improve. Come on, Virginia. Virginia about to pull this off. Good stuff. Virginia's about to Virginia. Defense has to improve, but there's also some things. I think it's very similar to offense, where we say Mike sometimes has to get out of his own way. I think sometimes Fuller gets gun shy. Like, you can see when this team's clicking, like against LSU, man, when we were putting pressure and lining up, they couldn't handle it. Daniels had to scramble for every yard they had. Then when we go back into the soft coverage, they pick us. As long as Fuller can get out of his own way, hopefully we'll be okay. But that's another conversation for another time about the defensive coordinator position moving forward. We have some issues with health to our best players. That doesn't create a trap game. I just don't think it's a trap game anyway. A trap game to me would be, what's a trap game on the schedule? Trap game to me would be like a game that's before a big game. I mean, I guess if you want to think Wake's a big game, I guess if you want to think Wake Forest is a big game, you could classify this game as a trap game. If you would be like, oh, they might be looking ahead to Wake. I don't know if you look ahead to Wake Forest. So that again, if this game fell in front of NC State or Clemson, I think you have the trap game type of syndrome. Then I could agree, right? I don't think Georgia Tech's very good. Is Georgia Tech before like Florida or Miami? If Georgia Tech is before Florida, Miami, VJ, then I agree with you. Because even though Georgia Tech's not good, it's because they're not good. You look ahead of that game to Miami or Florida. Because those are the big games after the obviously 3-game stretch. Those are the big games really left. So is Georgia Tech before one of those games? If so, then you're right. And that's a good point. But I don't. Okay, so yeah, Georgia Tech's before Miami. So Georgia Tech would absolutely qualify as a trap game, right? Georgia Tech would qualify as a trap game. I don't think Louisiana does, even though it's before Florida. I don't think it qualifies as a trap game because it's Louisiana. But Georgia Tech can surprise you. That's another team that we have had history with. Things happen, right? Mike Norvell's first year, Georgia Tech should have won that game. Things happen. When Jimbo was there, I think we were top 5 in the country in the blocked field goal. Like that, yeah, Georgia Tech, I would agree that classifies as a trap. Not so much this one, and not so much Louisiana. Yeah, this is not Matt Ryan's Boston College. Absolutely. I don't think it's a trap game. Plus, it's going to be a sold out and dope. Sold out and dope, yeah. A BC has a walk on an offensive lineman starting. They battle with injuries as well. Fuller's a defensive genius. Fair points. Just hope they don't play down. Yeah, I mean, you always hope they don't play down. But I guess what would classify as playing down? Again, I don't think this is a blowout. So people are going to say, well, you only beat Boston College 20 to something, and they're going to try to say it's a whatever type of game anyway. But I hear you. You don't want them to like play down the competition. Not to take blame from Fuller, but the players said they get nervous and couldn't calm themselves down on that 99-yard drive versus LSU. Although it was more than questionable, Nicholas. Again, put it like this. What's the point of going prevent and letting them drive 99? You might as well man up, and if they hit a big bomb over the top because the guy got beat, trust your athletes. That's where I'm at with it. You're at Florida State. Trust your athletes. Trust your athletes. Dugans was here when Charlie Strong was there. Okay. Coach Devontae Parker, who I was a big fan of coming out of college. Trap game was last week versus Louisville. I don't think that was a trap game either. I'm pretty sure they had that Louisville game circled. But you can make the case. You can make the case that just coming off of the LSU game, to your point, RD and Marcus's point, you can make the case that coming off of the big LSU game and Louisville Louisville had been struggling up until that point. Yeah, I mean that's a good point. Funny thing is, Mike Norvell's still learning as a head coach, but he has enough talent to fight on this team. The point will make up Mike Norvell's efficiency in play calling. Word trap game for NC State. Big fourth down coming. They just scored, right? Yeah, them boys just scored. I need to tell y'all FSU will win for sure. I already have. I just said I'm not worried about this game. FSU will win this game. I just don't think it'll be this 35-10 game. But FSU will win this game. If you lose this game, forget the 3-0. You have a lot of questions losing this game. And then I'll be honest with you guys, to lose to Boston College would feel like you took a step forward just to take 2 or 3 steps back. And I don't know if anybody else agrees with that, but to lose to Boston College, this type of Boston College team who's dealing with injuries, who everybody knows isn't a good team. Virginia Tech is an absolute mess, and they destroyed them. To lose to Boston College would feel like you just took, after having such a great start and great momentum, it would almost feel like you're going to lose that in an instant to lose to Boston College. So, I'm telling you they're going to win. It's been great not having – man, it's crazy, ain't it, bro? The boys don't – shout out to Kane Zay. He was in here earlier, but Kane Zay always come in here and show love. He don't really troll. But ain't it wild? It's just crazy. Them boys they just fall off the face of the earth when things don't go their way. Crazy, man. Crazy. And Matthew says, yeah, we're not losing this game. So we'll just open it up, man, and we'll talk about any topic y'all want to talk about. We've gone a whole hour. And again, what's up, Norville Central? How you doing? But again, like, I'm just not worried. I'm not worried about Boston College. And like Marcus Lewis said, you cap this week off. I mean, you got 4-star linebacker, 5-star receiver, and bam, cap it off with a sold-out win in Doak, and you're heading into a big stretch where everybody should be coming back healthy. Probably a lot of these guys could play in this game, but again, do not need to, in my opinion, so don't put them out there. Great week for Florida State, in my opinion, man. Great week for Florida State. Coming off that Wake Forest NC State Clemson stretch, to play Georgia Tech the week before coming to Miami would be that trap game. Go Noles. I think we beat BC by 21, our first blowout win of the season. Well, Duquesne was a blowout, Josh, but I hear what you're saying. First, Duquesne, not a real, no discredit to Duquesne, but come on, not a real opponent. It was week 0, so we blow out a Power 5 team. I'm with you, bro. I'm with you. Again, I don't think we blow them out, but I hear you. I would not be mad at it. You know what's crazy, Bradley? If we want to talk a little bit about tomorrow and some of these games, again, open forum now. Bring up any topic you want. Let's go at it. I would not be shocked if the Gators beat Tennessee. They don't never lose to them. Even when the Gators suck, they find a way to beat the Volunteers. Now, last year they beat them, I think, right? Even when the Gators are no good, they beat Tennessee. They can't. Tennessee always has a problem with Florida. It would not shock me if Florida beat them. It also wouldn't shock me if Tennessee put 40 on them. But I'm leaning more towards the Gators pulling out a close game in this one, just because it's Tennessee, and that's a rivalry game, and for whatever reason, Florida has that number in that rivalry. They always seem to beat the Volunteers, man. They always seem to beat them. So I hope Tennessee go out there and put 40-something on them, and AR throw another 2-3 picks. But it wouldn't shock me, man. It just wouldn't shock me because that's just the nature of that rivalry. Tyler thinks Travis is going to start. I wouldn't necessarily be mad if he starts, obviously. But I do think if – let's be honest. I think if you look at this Boston College team – now, I understand the notion of starting them. If you're Mike Norvell, you're not in a position where you're taking any chances. Mike Norvell needs to get as many wins this year as possible. We talked about this all offseason. So Tyler, you're in the right place. Because if you're Mike Norvell, you're like, I'm not taking no damn chances. If Travis can play, he's playing because I have to win as many games as possible. But I do think that speaks to what you really think of Rodemaker if you don't think Rodemaker can play against this Boston College team. Double-edged sword there, I don't know. Maybe I'm just being cynical. That was a great pass, back shoulder pass. Maybe I'm just being a little cynical there, but that's how I feel. I feel like if you really want to risk Travis against Boston College, you probably don't think that highly of Tate. But I also understand the notion of, man, you just got to win. If you're Mike Norvell, you just have to win. So I understand it. I think you will see. Well, McCall plays every game. You guys just don't like him. You guys just don't like McCall. Or you don't think he can do kick returns, even though he's 3 games into his freshman season. And, we're already ready to write the book on Sam McCall and how he sucks as a kick returner. McCall gets more burned than AZ. He plays every game and is an important piece of the special teams. I think McCall's just going to grow into it. I don't know why we're so quick to pencil guys out or scratch guys out. But McCall sees plenty of burn. The thing is about McCall on defense, I think McCall's a safety. I don't think he's a corner. I think they have him listed at corner as a necessity because they're not very deep at corner, and they are very deep at safety. Again, I've talked about this safety. Think about this at safety. We know who the 2 starters are. Shaheem has gotten plenty of shine. We haven't heard Sidney Williams' name at all this year. And there was a time where Sidney Williams was one of the best safeties you had. And then he got hurt and he kind of came back down. And, we haven't heard about McClellan at all this year. They're deep at safety. Sam's not going to really get any burn at the safety spot. It is possible that maybe he plays a little bit of corner, if we are in a good position. But McCall gets plenty of burn. I would like to see AZ out there more than 7. You know how I feel about that. But that's true. AR never throws any touchdowns. But, again, if we're just being fair, let me take this watch off. if we're just being fair, man, I do think Florida has a decent running game. Just don't put seven on anybody, let alone Zay. UNC will beat Notre Dame. That's gonna get ugly for Freeman if that happens. I read on Twitter that Dante Moore is taking a visit to. I would love to see that. I mean, who would you rather play for if you ask? Would you rather play for Kenny or would you rather play for Tony Tokars? I'll let y'all answer that in the comments. What's your opinion on that Miami loss to A&M? I talked a lot about that too, Brain Tick. Go watch the last stream. I'm not going to waste more time on Miami than I have to. I did a whole segment on Miami and A&M. So go check that out over there on the last live stream. Yeah, exactly. Florida in their head. Tell them, BJ, smash the like. You're not wrong, Briley. You're not wrong. We flipping Brown who? Jaylen Brown at LSU? That would be crazy. I don't know. Please tell me why NC State has FSU fans nervous about them. What they look average in every game. I agree. They're high ranked. They do. I think NC State matches up well against us in terms of personnel. But I'm not. I said this before, Eric. There's not too many. I'm not worried about really any teams on this schedule. Everybody looks beatable, Clemson included. No one has shocked me. And Syracuse was the one team that was looking like a little bit of a shocker. Like, wow, Syracuse might actually be better. And now they're down 20-19 to Virginia. And Virginia, well, none of the Virginia schools for that matter are any good. So every team on this schedule is beatable. The only thing that worries me about NC State is that it is a road game. View facts, LOL. If they really believe in Tate so much, why risk JT when you know you have a 3-game stretch coming up? Just my opinion. I'm not willing to give a conference game to Tate unless we have no other. Again, Tyler, I hear you. That man's got to win as many ball games as possible. You are not wrong. If Travis is ready, you got to play him. Can't say I disagree if he's ready. AR-15 best QB in the SEC. Billy said he was the next. Okay. Dan Mullen, who actually coached Dak Prescott, obviously didn't believe that. I think Gator fans owe Dan Mullen a big-time apology of why he stuck with Emory Jones so much. It's pretty obvious at this point. I don't know if that's true. I don't know if that rumor is true. Don't take that rumor, man, and start spreading that Dante Moore is coming in December. Maybe I haven't heard that until now. Let's take no chance and play the backup, run the ball. That's my thing, Josh. Tate can hand the ball off. We should be able to run the ball. Tate can hand the ball off. McCall over 7 all day. I agree with that. Those two, McClellan and Sidney, are good players too. That's my point, Nicholas. Absolutely. That's why Sam hasn't really gotten in that safety rotation because ultimately I think Sam is a safety. I said that from the jump. I continue to believe that Sam McCall is a future safety, not a corner. But the safety room is deep with good players, with good football players. Tennessee's going to blitz Florida. We lost a tough one, but I predicted we dropped that one versus A&M. I think everybody – here's the thing, Galaxy, and since you commented, I will talk about for this long. Yes, everybody predicted A&M to beat you guys. However, nobody predicted that the number 6 team in the country to start the season would be that bad. There's no way you can look at that A&M team and say that's a good team in any aspect. They were not predicted to be this bad. That is a bad offense, defense. App State went in their home stadium and ran it down their throat. Out SEC'd an SEC team. So, yeah, we all predicted a Miami loss, but that game set up in every way, shape, or form for Miami to win that game because that is not a good team. You couldn't get it done. Straight speed, baby. UVA ain't ready to quit. Syracuse ain't ready to quit. It look like they driving right now. The first time in years I can feel that you can beat everybody on the schedule. Minnesota Tennessee is straight speed. You still want to fire Dugans? I said, what did I say? I said, Dugans landed Hakeem. I wouldn't have nothing else to say to him. I ain't got nothing to say, bro. Y'all got me. You got me. We do this, right? We do this with Odell. We do this with Dugans. I give you a list of facts about why these guys are below average. They land one guy, and we like, yeah. It's like, okay. I was just implying about that, especially if Oregon's offense looks suspect and our offense is humming and efficient. I hope we can. Again, I think they have to be working to try to get a quarterback. Maybe a Ricky Collins. I know that's an LSU guy and he's a Louisiana guy. But maybe you might probably have to circle the wagon on some of these quarterbacks. The Donta Moores, that Emory kid that Miami has. He's not the highest rated guy, but again, you need a quarterback. He has all the physical attributes that Emory does, and I think he's from the Panhandle, so he's up there in your area. You got to circle back on that one. Circle back on a Donta Moore who pretended. I still think it was a bit of a attention grabber. I don't think Donta Moore personally. I don't think it was being authentic. I think it was a bit of an attention grabber, but who claimed he had a ton of interest in Florida State during this summer, and Florida State didn't have interest in him because they had, So we'll see. Circle back if he had that much interest. Circle back and see what he's thinking. So you got to circle back on some of these quarterbacks. I don't see how Florida would think they are better now than with Mullins. I think Mullins is an offensive genius, just a horrible recruiter. Stop trying to spill salt on Odell. I'm just telling the truth. But I don't say anything bad about Odell either, right? Definitely agree. There we made some mistakes in that game, but one loss can turn into 4 or 5. I'm still thinking, well, you guys have an easy schedule. So, yeah, I'm with, again, y'all play Middle Tennessee this week. So you guys don't really have a hard schedule. I think you have a bye week after Middle Tennessee, and then I think you get UNC. So that'd be a test because you guys usually struggle with that team. Dugans, you had a valid point. At least Odell develops his guys. What can we do, POLK, to keep Hykeem committed? Win football games. Win football games and continue to show your offense has improved. Continue to show your offensive production, and I think I'm not saying you got to go undefeated to keep Hykeem. But again, you can't drop the next 3 games, assuming you beat Boston College, right? You can't drop the next 3 games. You have to show that not only are you going to win, but you also have to beat good teams. Beat good teams, man. So far this year, I think LSU is a better team than people think. And I think they're going to show that. That's what I think. I'm not going to say that LSU is a bunch of world beaters, but I can see LSU being a 7-8 win team. Nobody really thinks Louisville, but they thought Louisville was a good team coming into the season. Then the games were played, and nobody really thinks Louisville's got it this year. So you can argue that the 3 games, while important, who have you really beaten? Even though I think you got to give a lot of credit for the LSU personally. But you know how the national media spins these things. So just beat good teams. That's why this whole rank thing for me, like everybody was crying about being ranked, never made sense to me because you're about to play 3 straight ranked teams. Wake maybe not be ranked. It depends on how they look against Clemson. But losing to Clemson, they probably doesn't knock them out of the rankings. But so you're about to play 3 straight teams. Win. Again, you don't have to beat all these teams. 2-1. 3-0 preferably, but 2-1. But you got to be able to show that you can beat good teams if you want to keep a guy like that on board. Games are being played, and we will see. I like some things we're showing defensively and in the run game. I'll talk football with you, Galaxy. Again, I don't want to spend too much time on Miami, but you're having some insightful comments. And I don't like to come off as a hater, but I like what you guys are doing in the run game, even though, honestly, I'm going to just be honest with you, man. I'm going to be 100% honest with you. It's hard to gauge Miami in any real shape or form. You've played nobody except A&M. Okay? And it's hard to gauge that game because you can say, well, we had a good running game against the SEC defensive line. Well, so did App State. App State lined it up and ran it down the throat. So App State already showed you what to do. So you should have been able to run the ball against A&M. Like, I don't know how much credence you really put into that. Your other two games was Southern Miss, a team that won 2 games last year, lost. I think weren't they 0-2 or something like that before playing y'all, or 0-1, and then Boston College, who's another really bad team. So I don't know what you really see defensively because A&M couldn't move the ball on. Again, App State is the gauge here. They couldn't move the ball against App State. A&M showed that their offense wasn't good against Sam Houston in the first game. So how much credence do you really put into the defense? Because defensively, Bethune had almost 400 yards of offense on you guys. I'm just saying. Defensively, Southern Miss had a freshman quarterback who wasn't scared to come out there, and he was throwing that rock a little bit out there. I don't want to come off as a hater, but I'm being 100% honest with you when I say I can't gauge anything about Miami. Your schedule tells me that TVD should have 800 yards passing and 5-6 touchdowns as a Heisman candidate, as the next top, as one of the number 1 draft picks or one of the first round draft picks coming up, allegedly, but he don't even have that. I know that's not what you want to hear. I know that comes off as I'm hating. I'm being 100% honest with you. When I look at Miami, I can't gauge anything because you haven't played anybody. The one team you supposedly played, well, they turned out to be trash themselves. So everything you think you did well in the A&M game, App State did well too, and that's App State, a team that's defense is absolutely god awful. They gave up 60 points to North Carolina. And we're supposed to think App State has a good defense because A&M couldn't score on them either. I'm just being honest. And again, I know that's not what you want to hear. I think getting a high school quarterback recruit will be an issue of stacking some elite talent in the run up to signing day to go along with Hakeem and flipping somebody late. You gotta get a quarterback. Like, I think quarterback's got to be the primary focus here for the rest of the season. If we get Jordan Hall and Ruben Bain, I would take either one. Hall to me is the better player, but Ruben Bain's he's a beast himself. So I don't think we get both. I think that's crazy, but you never know, right? But no, I wouldn't say we get both. I think it's going to be hard to get one. From what I'm hearing, Georgia's on Jordan Hall real hard. If Winston Wright gets back, who cares about these rankings? We keep winning. I agree. That's been my poll. That's been my thing. Polk, you stay hating. What are you talking about? No, man, I don't hate. I just talk. I just tell you the truth. Well, they didn't play at North Carolina like that, though. You see, that's where we go into the weeds and we really dig into these things, and that's not necessarily true. I will agree with you that App State plays everybody tough. They play everybody tough. But it's not like App State's going undefeated all the time. Armstrong is overrated. I don't think he's that good. Miami couldn't beat LSU or Louisville, and you can take that to the bank. Real is real. App State only gave up 1 sack and ran for 185 on A&M. That's more than Miami. If Wright and Wilson both play with Pittman, McClain, Pokey, I agree. Getting right back's big. TVD can't throw. I can never understand how FSU doesn't have a 5-star quarterback. For some reason, QBs don't like Norvell. I don't know if they don't like him. I think there's been – honestly, guys, if I'm being honest with you, I don't think Kenny Dillingham hasn't helped, or he wasn't helping. Look at our quarterback play under him. All of a sudden, now I think this comes with natural growth, but I think Tony needs a lot of credit, man. I've been on that. I think Tony Tokart deserves some credit here. And if Jordan Travis continues to play the way he's played, then I think kids are going to look at Tony and be like, okay, I think I can play for this guy. Yeah. You can gauge how poor the wide receivers are being coached at Miami. Lazy routes, running themselves in coverage, drops, poor blocking. TBD hasn't been accurate as last year, but the wide receivers have been atrocious. I don't disagree with that. Jalen says, we just beat a team by a field goal. Well, congratulations, bro. Shout out. So what was Chris Parsons' dad saying in the space? He was saying that guys like Hakeem Williams and Jalen Brown and Chris Parsons all wanted to play together, right? So that they were all waiting to see what Chris Parsons does because they all made a pact and they were basically going to play college ball together. All three of them are committed to three different schools. So he said a lot of other things that it's really irrelevant and in hindsight is looking real stupid at this point, but I wish them nothing but the best at Mississippi State, honestly. I can pick and choose the same thing about Tallahassee. Louisville struggled this year, and you play. But see, here's the difference. Florida State didn't come into the season 15 ranked. Florida State didn't come into the season ranked at all. No one had any high aspirations of the FSU. FSU's coming off a 5-win season. Okay? FSU didn't have a Heisman contender at quarterback. Okay? All these things got to be put into perspective. I'm not going to sit here and say you're wrong because nobody picked Florida State to blow out a Louisville. Matter of fact, no one thought Louisville would even be struggling. Right? So you can put everything into perspective, right? At the end of the day, though, we won our games. That game for A&M was set up for y'all to win that game. There's no reason why you shouldn't have won that game. My opinion, but some QBs are spoiled, and Mike Norvell likes to have an open competition throughout his program at every position. We talking ball, not rankings. Well, that's a part of it, though. We don't have to talk rankings, but expectation comes with everything. Florida State is exceeding the expectation. Okay, I'm not telling you that Florida State's a perfect football team. Absolutely not. We got a ton to work on. Miami's not a perfect football team, but Miami was picked to be this. And again, that has to do with that new car smell. But I said before the season, Rhett Lashley is a bigger deal than Miami fans want to admit. And it's starting to show. I won't put everything on Gaddis, but it's not a coincidence that TVD does not look the same. Rhett in that air raid is a quarterback's best friend. What Gaddis is doing is more pro-stylish. And Mario wants to run the ball. That's all I'm saying. There's certain things, right? I would like to get rid of Fuller. He's too conservative for me. Soft defense needs someone who will aggressive and attack. I think we should go after Avery. We both had interest early in the year. Like Galaxy, Briley says Galaxy, but we made those plays and we won. Y'all have scheduled cupcakes, struggled for a half with one of them, lost to the only P5 team you scheduled, and looked like crap doing it. Not to mention, that was Louisville's home opener on a Friday night. Real Louisville was projected 4th in the Atlantic. We were projected 5th. Okay, the expectations was we were losing that game. Right. But then, remember, now we talking ball. The expectations were you were losing that game. Can you sit here and say that you are satisfied? Obviously, you're not satisfied with the loss. But knowing the type of team that A&M is, there's no way you bro, we let that game. There's no reason why we should have lost it. You get what I'm – am I the only – I don't know. Maybe I'm just not making sense. But the A&M team is not good. And you can't try to spin it to make them look good because we have games of football that shows that they are not a good team. I don't know what's going on with Jimbo over there, but he recruited a bunch of talent, but he ain't got that talent clicking. And you caught him at a great time, and you should have beat him is the point. You're going to beat Middle Tennessee. Hell, you'll probably beat them by 30. But my point about Miami is simple. We'll go 4 games because, again, I think you beat Middle Tennessee and you can pick the score in that game. But what have you proven in those 4 games? You can't tell me you've seen any real improvement of that team in the first 4 games. I don't believe you have. Because you've played nobody, is my point. You can say what you want about Louisville. And you can say what you want about LSU. They're better than the teams that you guys have scheduled up until this point. Chuba is third, and Altmaier is a backup at Ole Miss. Can't really blame Norvell for kids' bad decisions. TVD can't throw in those high school receivers. FSU had to get over a mental hump with Louisville after they did whoop us the last 2 years. I think most true Miami fans that know ball will agree with the 2 OCs. Galaxy King, the expectations were not that you'd lose because you couldn't score a TD after. I think the preseason expectations, because the preseason expectations, to Briley's point, was Texas A&M was a top 6 team. But after the App State game, it was like, wait a minute. After the Sam Houston game, it was like, wait a minute. You feel me? I do get what you're saying. I said like same things Miami showed. Okay. I just, again, I'm really not trying to make it seem like I'm coming off as I'm just throwing blatant hate out there. I'm just, trying to put everything into perspective. Jeff Allen says at 1, they should have beat them. They should have beat North Carolina. I also predicted TVD was going to struggle with Michigan's OC. Why did they mess with the good formula? TVD looked good. Well, again, Rhett Lashley, bro. Rhett Lashley is, again, that his system is the quarterback's best friend. And I don't think enough credit is being given to Rambo either. Maybe Miami fans are giving Rambo credit. I don't know. Obviously, I'm not in all the Miami chats, so I don't want to speak for them. But Rambo, man, was TVD's go-to guy. When he needed something, that's who he went to. And that guy always delivered. And he don't have that. Maybe Restrepo could have been that, but now he's out like indefinitely. Tough. It's tough. It's tough for Miami out there with the wide receiver. I think they got a bunch of receivers hurt. It's tough. Injuries, man. Injuries suck. Miami's a fraud, and it will show when they play better teams on the schedule. UNC might put up 50. If you want to, I'll say this, Galaxy. If you want to tell me that your defense is taking a step, I do want to see them against North Carolina because I think North Carolina does have a very good offense. I think the quarterback they have now is probably better than Sam Howell. He don't have the pieces around him that Sam had, though. But as far as like a pure quarterback throwing the ball, I think he's better. You can say that, but again, A&M's gonna – Cunningham would have a field day on A&M. I don't know if you can say that, bro. I don't know. You might be right, but that game would be a toss-up to me. Ask me where that game is being played at. At Dangby, I honestly think the OC is making TVD look worse than it is. Gaddis has really screwed the team's eyes, has been looking at the wrong response to make it. It's called serious regression. LSU will – yeah, they're going to play, right? So LSU and Texas A&M will play, so we will see. We will see there. No offense to Miami, but they might struggle with Georgia. I don't know about that. That's another really bad team. Cristobal is a terrible game manager. No one wants to talk about that. Super Mario. What are the film breakdowns coming back? I'm ready for you to react to some of these blue shit. I got to, man. I just don't be having the time during the week, man. You're right, though. I need to get back to doing going through these recruits and finish doing those. I just got to find some time to do it, to be honest with you. Dugans might not be the best at teaching our wide receivers route running concepts. One thing he can hang your hat on is teaching our wide receivers blocking, leverage down the field. Our wide receivers love to block. Soft zone steal will get exposed. We will see going forward with how things starting to mesh with this new staff. It's the new staff. See, I'm okay with this type of conversation because you're talking logically. The problem is this talk wasn't that talk a month ago. And maybe I'm not necessarily saying you. But this talk wasn't that talk a month ago. It wasn't, no one cared that it was a new staff. No one cared that it was all of this stuff. Remember, Gaddis was a Broyles Award winner. We can pull receipts. That's why I'm so hard on Miami, because y'all do this every offseason. Every offseason, you're back. Oh, I remember last year's offseason. Y'all was the most experienced team returning in the country. Bubba Bolden and forget TVD, De'Aaron King. I remember these conversations, bro. That's all I'm saying. So when I go on hard on Miami, it's because this happens every time. This happens every year. No one cared about the new staff. No one cared about Mario was the savior. Mario was Nick Saban 2.0. He was coming home. He was about to save Miami. And he may ultimately do that. But y'all didn't give it any time. I get it. Y'all was excited. I get it. Y'all was happy. Y'all didn't protect some of your most reputable YouTube guys. Man, at worst, this Miami team shouldn't lose any more than 2 games. We should win the Coastal and be right there to win. We beaten Clemson. It's like, okay, cool. But now 3 games in the season, don't say, well, man, come on, man. This is a new staff and we got to give it time. Well, which one is it? Which one is it? That's all I'm saying. That's why I'm doing it. But if you want to have a real football conversation like you've had tonight, I'm there, because then you can really get into the weeds of it and say, okay, this is where we're at. You feel me? But everybody's excited in the offseason. You feel me? What's up, Peter? What's up, POLK? Nice players this week. Yeah, man, we got 2 good ones, man. We got 2 good ones. I think offseason had with the recruiting definitely helped y'all gain y'all confidence. You definitely recruited very well this offseason. That's kind of quieted down. 1 loss to Clemson, maybe TAMU 2. Winning the Coastal, maybe they should. Yeah, that was the offseason hype. You're absolutely right. I just hit the nail on the head right there. I didn't even see that comment until now, but that was exactly what the offseason hype was. And it's okay to be, it's okay, but you got to remember, these receipts come back up. When you say these things, it's one thing for the fans to say it, and I'm a fan. But when you somebody that people go to for information, your reputable sources, as I like to call them, and you echo the same sentiments, people are going to pull receipts on you. And people are going to troll you, and people are going to have things to say. Because he's Aggie T2I this week. We'll see what happens with T2. He'll be back to Hurricane T2I because, again, they can call the score against Middle Tennessee. Actually, I haven't watched Middle Tennessee. I think they are 2-0, but I don't know who they played. They're probably. It's Middle Tennessee. I don't expect them. I don't expect them to be any good. I'd be shocked if that was a close game. I'm around a bunch of dull dudes in South Florida. They have talked the same way for the last 5 years or so. Bro, there's no way. If your Florida State fans, bro, have talked that way for the last 5 years, then they're just as delusional as the Miami fans. Because I don't know a Florida State fan for the last 5 years that said any of that kind of crap. You can pull my receipts. I ain't been lying to y'all for 5 years, telling y'all this team is going to be great. And the writing was on the wall with this team the last few years. But more power to them if they believe it. Miami fans were literally out here talking about an undefeated season Heisman candidate. Cedra, she too wide to the video. So that's normal. It's normal, but remember, this is YouTube. This is social media. So, again, receipts to be pulled. I'm with you, right? It is normal to a degree. It is normal, but you can't get mad when people start coming at you. If I came on here, look, I predicted Florida State to go 9-3 at the beginning of the season. And I told you, that's not because necessarily that's what I think they're going to do, but that's what we need to do to pull this thing out of the mud, get recruiting on the right track. Florida State needs to go 9-3. 8-4 is also a great season. If we go 6-6, feel free to come at me. I can't do nothing but bite the bullet and take it. Boy, New King ain't been here since. New King ain't been here in a while. New King hasn't been around since we beat LSU. Remember, LSU was going to put 30 on us. Beat us by 30. Kane's going to beat their little brother. What's up, John? Miami fans love to purchase the brand new Cadillac only to find out the engine is the same old engine. Nobody said Travis was winning the Heisman or that FSU was winning the Atlantic. Nobody said those things. But if you do have some Florida State friends that said that, again, more power to them, bro. I just don't believe that. If FSU is completely healthy, they're flat out better than Miami. It's not close. Those games will always be close. I won't say that. Weekends are always living rent free. No, that's not true. We having a conversation, John. Don't do that. Don't show up here and do that. Me and Galaxy having a football conversation. Taggart did have. You're right. You're right about Taggart. You're not right about the Norvell hype. Norvell didn't have a lot of hype. A lot of people did not want Mike Norvell. Okay, I was optimistic about Norvell, but I did not want Norvell either. I said you don't fire Taggart for Mike. Okay, but I'm giving Mike a chance, but nobody was on here lying about Norvell. Yes, we lied about Taggart. I will wholeheartedly admit Taggart had a lot of hype, and that hype died after one game. Watch the Virginia Tech game, and that hype died. That hype was not the same after Virginia Tech. But you are right about the new car smell when it came to Taggart. Oh, there was a ton of lies. It's all love, man. I talk football. I talk any day. Miami fans ain't gonna show up till some. I know. That's the truth. They'll show up when we lose a game, whenever that is. It's cool to lay out our expectations, but Miami fans laid out their expectations with trash talking no fans. I think they're eating their own medicine. 3-0 is upcoming stretch. Is JT a Heisman candidate? He goes 3-0. Okay, let's talk about that, Tyler. I like how Tyler's like, I'm tired of talking about Miami. Let's get a real topic on here. I appreciate that, Tyler. I'll ask that. What numbers does he have to average in that stretch, though? He's got to put up some numbers. We're talking, Heisman is a numbers award, right? It's not only do you have to win, but you got to put up the numbers. He averaged 250 yards and 3 touchdowns in that stretch, goes 3-0. Is he a Heisman candidate? Ooh, you're having a conversation. I can't put him in the Heisman candidate. I don't know. What do you guys think? What would Travis have to do besides just going 3-0 in that stretch to be a Heisman candidate? Oh, John, stop it. I hear you, Galaxy. You're not wrong. You're not wrong when you say that. Yeah, like you said, obvious reasons, we know. Boy, everybody was telling them lies. We was all telling lies about Willie. Like more than, man, I got that swag. We was all telling lies about that. And then one game happened, and that thing died. That thing was like the Titanic, man. Taggart's reign was like the Titanic. It was billed as the best ship in the world, unsinkable, and then bam, hit an iceberg, and that thing drifted into the dark, dark night. Terrible. He has to have big games, but what kind of numbers? What do those numbers have to look like? I think we split Clemson and NC State as well. I'm with you, Josh. I think we go 2-1 in that stretch. We need to. I want us to go 2-1 in that stretch, and just take care of home. You just take care of home. No one's gonna look at NC State as a terrible loss. Nobody. NC State on the road, they're a top 15 team. Nobody's gonna say, "Oh, NC State was a terrible loss." I think the only thing that helps you with NC State, I believe they play Clemson before they play us. That could help you with NC State. Or do they play Clemson after? No, they can't play Clemson after us because we play Clemson after NC State. So that's what kind of helps you with NC State. But I don't think anybody looks at NC State as a bad loss. I don't think anybody looks at any 3 of those games as a bad loss. It's just that you can't lose all 3 of them. First, I think he plays in that 3-game stretch. I think he plays in that 3-game stretch. 250 in the air, 80 on the ground. See, the thing is, he hasn't ran. Jordan Travis hasn't had a big running game yet. I'm not so sure he needs one. But 8+ TDs, 250 in the air. I mean, if he does put up those numbers, those VJ, yeah, he's got to be in the Heisman. Because now you're talking about Florida State's undefeated. They beat 3 ranked teams in a row. I think Clemson's the top 5 team. You win those 3 games. I don't see how you keep Florida State out of the top 5 if you win those 3 games. So then, yeah, he's got to be in that. Those numbers absolutely get him in the mix. No way it doesn't. No way it doesn't. Come on, John. You got now. You got to have better material than 5210. We're past that. That's ancient history, right? We're past that, right? We still talking about that? What if I talk about 47-0? Like, what's the point of bringing that up? Come on, man. Come on, John. Gotta have better. Bring better material to the argument, bro. Come on. Do we want to wait? Do we want Wake to win in terms of ACC standings, bro? It don't even matter. Those. First of all of us are going to beat up on each other anyway. But if we win our 3 games, it doesn't matter who wins, right? Doesn't even matter who wins. Just win ours. I'm all about controlling what we can control. Just win our games. It don't even matter if Wake beat Clemson or Clemson beat Wake or NC. Just we beat who we supposed to beat. We'll be right in that ACC mix at the end of it. If not, personally, I think if you go 3-0, I think you're all but a lock for the ACC. Like, you would have to lose the rest of your ACC games. Because, again, NC State, Clemson, and Wake, they all have to play each other, and they're going to all take L's to each other. You win those 3, you already got the tiebreaker. As long as you don't have a hiccup against – I think the only Atlantic team you have left would be Syracuse. Just don't lose to Georgia Tech or Miami. And then if you beat those 3, you can afford to lose another 8. You can afford to lose at least one ACC game, right? So my thing is just win those. Just win those. I'm not rooting for anybody tomorrow. I just want us to do what we're supposed to do. It would be cool to see, I think Wake has a shot because of Clemson's offense is so putrid, but we'll see. I'll say he'll have to get at least one monster game in the 3-game stretch. Ooh, 350. That'd be crazy to get a 350 performance. I think Wake will be wore out after playing in a dogfight with Clemson. We get Wake, and we get them at home. Wake is definitely a winnable game, and they're coming off of Clemson, right? Then we get NC State, and then they're going to be what? Maybe looking – are they looking forward to Clemson? I don't know. That whole thing just, or NC State will – when we play Clemson, they would have played NC State. I don't know, man. I gotta look at the schedule. I don't know how these things shake out. Jordan shouldn't have an interception if the Cam catches the ball hits him literally right in the hands. Cam catches the ball, Jordan doesn't have a pick on the year. See, John, you done got everybody on your head. I want Clemson to keep winning because if they get exposed, then Dabo won't be able to maintain his stubbornness. With DJ, he'll have to sit him. I've been on the record, Riley. I hope he play Klubnik. I would love to see Klubnik in a sold-out Doak Stadium. If that freshman can beat us in that atmosphere, then he deserves it. I'll take my money on Florida State. I hear you, but I don't care who plays quarterback. That's just me, though. So if that freshman's that good, then so be it. But we have a while to 11. So I'm definitely looking forward to that. But we both teams do, though. That's the thing. We have a chance. There's a chance that Florida State Miami could be a very big game this year. Both teams got to take care of business. There you go. So, yeah, that's what I'm saying, man. We didn't say JT was going to be great, just wanted growth. And he has the second QBR in the ACC, just saying. I'm not scared of either QB on Clemson. Me neither. Let's say we win the JSU game. Is the program really any different today? Well, that depends on what you do after that. So is it we just win the JSU game, but the rest of the season plays out the same? So you go 6-6, you still start the season off 1-3. I think the program. The only thing I'll say about the JSU game that maybe changes the course of the program, maybe going 6-6 and making that bowl, and maybe you winning the bowl and finishing with the winning season. Maybe you get a Tyree West at the end of the season. Like maybe you keep Travion Williams committed to your class. Like maybe your recruiting class is finished better, right? That Travis Hunter thing, that was happening. That was gonna happen probably unless you went, undefeated or something crazy like that. So the Travis Hunter thing, we can throw it out the window. But those other guys, maybe if you actually do go to a bowl game and win a bowl, maybe you are able to land those other guys. So maybe that does affect the program. How's Norvell done with the play calling so far? I think Norvell's called some really good games. I thought LSU was called very well. I thought Louisville was called very well. Of course, Duquesne is what it was. I think he's done great so far, outside of like one or two calls. And again, for me, it's like against LSU, it was a toss play for me. Not so much. Everybody wants to nitpick, or we pick what we nitpick, right? Some people say he had two bad calls in LSU game. Again, I don't think the fade pass to Pittman was a bad call, especially when the ball's put right on the money and Pittman just got to make a play. And at the time it was called, you were getting the ball in the second half anyway, right? So you took a risk. I'm okay with it. And I'll stand by it. The toss play, yes, you can make the same argument of toss play. Well, Trayshawn Ward just has to catch the ball and make a play. But I believe it's situational football. And I don't like that call in that situation with emotions running high. Your player's going to be super nervous to make the play. The LSU players are going to be going for broke to try to make a play. Don't toss the ball, right? Don't toss the ball. And then people go to the Louisville game and they nitpick on two plays. One being this QB sneak, which I did not like because I thought you were too far out to do that QB sneak. Some people, it was a yard, but it was a long yard. Didn't like the QB sneak call. Right? Personally, I had no problem with they ran a reverse or a sweep with Pittman. Didn't have a problem with that call. That call was actually dialed up nicely. It's actually blocked pretty well. I don't remember exactly how that play broke down, but that was a touchdown. Just something. I think somebody missed the block or Pittman didn't go somewhere he was supposed to go. But I didn't have a problem with that call. I don't have a problem with you trying to do a little bit of misdirection. So for me, it's two plays. But I think Mike has called a good season so far. Again, I'll take my money on either one. If we get through 3-game stretch, 6-1, at that point, you got to think we go 10-2 this season. You go 6-1, my 9-3 prediction continues to look very, very good. Yeah, I know DJ is awful, and I don't know if Klubnik is awful. Yeah, I get you. I don't know if Klubnik is awful either, but I know he's a true freshman. He's never played in Doak Campbell Stadium before. I was thinking, in the grand scheme of things, we are in the same position. Maybe you could argue that we might be a little bit more talented, though. If we, I don't know, man. And you don't even know how the rest of those games play out. Like, you beat JSU, and then maybe you beat these other teams. You don't go 0-4. Like, the one win can put it like this. Do you think if we lost to LSU, the way that game played out, if you think that we go into overtime and lose that game to LSU, do you think we come back out and beat Louisville? Because I don't. And I think that shows how one game can really change your momentum. And I know people don't like the word momentum, and that's fair. But I think it shows that one game can change your momentum. It can change the confidence of your team and have that team believing in itself. Because I think if that game goes to overtime, if LSU hits that field goal and that game goes to overtime and we lose that game, I'm not so sure we come out and beat Louisville the next week. So I can say the same thing about last year. Especially coming off of that tough victory, tough loss to Notre Dame. They were feeling themselves. That's one of the reasons why they think they played so terrible against JSU, because they were feeling themselves, right? But if you beat that team, Do you, even if if that game finishes without the Hail Mary, you beat them in a close game, I think that's a reality check for that team. But it's hard to say, It's hard to say. That's just kind of my thoughts, though. That boy been going off like every week, every game this year. He's been going off. As I say, he's getting a 4-star here soon. But I don't know if we win at Louisville if Travis stays in the game. Before he left the game, we were losing, and offense seemed to be slowing down. I wish Travis would throw more 50-50 balls to Wilson. I don't know. Marcus, you can't convince me that tape's the reason we won that game. I don't know. I don't know about that. I don't know. I appreciate that comment, though, but I don't know. Emotions are running high on that fade route with your backup QB. That Cali is riskier. I don't see how that calls riskier than the pitch. You still had 2 more quarters of football to play. How is that call more riskier than the pitch? You had 2 more quarters of football to play, and you were getting the ball at halftime, and that was at the end of the half anyway. I don't agree with that, Briley. I don't know. I don't know about that, man. Or are you talking about the Louisville game? Oh, I think you're talking about the Louisville game. Oh, you're talking about the Louisville game, I think. I don't think I still don't agree with you, only because you had to make a play there. Where were they at on that play? Florida State needed a touchdown, not so much a field. Like another reason why the pitch play so terrible is because all you needed was a field goal to ice this thing. That's another reason why the pitch play was so terrible. Right? You just needed a field goal. Florida State needed the touchdown in that situation, if I'm not mistaken. So again, and then it's Jarvis Brownlee, bro. Any play against Jarvis Brownlee that's a free play. So that's a great call. I see number 12 on the field. Yeah, I'm going at him. That's free touchdown. I don't know, man. Yeah, I see that. I'm actually watching it. I got it on right now. They call him a fat boy. Yeah, he lost the belts. Got stripped of his belts. Moving up to 135. Yeah, I hear you, Josh, but guess what? No one on that team is Greg Jones, Snoop Minutes work done. Like, oh man, we got to stop doing that. I hear you, bro. I would love to know, and I would love to watch where Bobby Bowden was on the 1 or 2 yard line in a game where he's up 7 with less than a minute and something, like less than a minute and 30 left, and that's the play. Like, I could be wrong, but I would just love to see it. But again, Trayshawn Ward isn't any of those guys. No knock on Trayshawn Ward, who I think has been great. But he's not Greg Jones or Ward Dunn for sure. It was on the 2. Okay, even still, you needed the touchdown. Again, Jarvis Brownlee's out there on the island against a 6'7" receiver. I don't have a problem with the call at all. I don't have a problem with the call. Maybe I don't have a problem with the call because it worked, but I don't have a problem with the call if he dropped it. But y'all hit that like button if you haven't hit it. We still going strong here on almost coming up on 2 hours. This is one of the longer live streams I've done in a while. I usually don't even go there. I usually do about 1 hour and 30 nowadays. I try not to be too long, but I mean, I'm feeling pretty good. I'm in a little bit of a groove. If we want to continue, by all means, we can. I like the size we got at receiver. Malik McClain, Johnny, Pokey, Deuce, and hopefully Hakeem Williams. Gary, who going to cover these dudes? I don't have a problem with either call. Fair enough. Who cares if Bobby did it? I question it if he called it too. Fair enough. There you go. I don't disagree with Tyler. So, we got to start talking about who did what and who did it and who didn't do it. That's a beautiful thing about football. Everything's good until it doesn't work, or it's bad, until it works. Who has a big game tomorrow? The only one I know of. It's a great question, but the only game I know of. Where is college? Where is a college game day being held? That's a great question. But Florida and Tennessee, is that the biggest game? That might be the biggest game tomorrow. I could be wrong. I could be wrong. What's going on, Stephanie? I hope not. Well, I don't want to say hope. I just wouldn't play him unless you have to. I'm going to say I still don't think he. I'm going to say he does not play. Yeah, Waking Clemson's the other big game. I'm gonna say he does not play. I'm gonna say he doesn't play. I'm gonna say he does not play. Wouldn't shock me if he did. Like Tyler made the point earlier. You just got to win games. And if he can play, play him, because you're not in a position where Mike can risk losing to Boston College, right? So, I think Ward will lead the offense, man. So I'm just go with I'm gonna pencil in Ward. Do I think another receiver do I think we're gonna have a Johnny Wilson performance tomorrow? Not too sure there. Only because if Tate does play again, I think Tate throws the ball 20 some odd times, no more than that. And again, I think we run the ball probably over 40 times combined with all our backs. And that's kind of what I would do. I don't know if a receiver has a big game. I think Ward probably has another big game. I'm going to predict. Defensively, I'm going to say D-Mac against those offensive linemen. I'm going to say D-Mac shows up and does his thing on the defensive side of the ball. You ain't lying. Duke versus Kansas. Well, how do we get our hands on your Hangover Countdown War Chant music? Is it? Oh, that music's on. I don't own that music, so that music you can actually find if you go to the link to this video. I got a link to the guy that actually owns that, and you can go on his channel and get and listen to that music. I don't think it's a trap game, but we kind of talked about that earlier. Can't risk Travis getting hurt worse. One loss to BC isn't equivalent to losing Travis for Wiggins. I would agree. Getting BC QB down is the only worry. Dude is a big kid. They kind of had a problem with that last year, if you remember. Pittman needs to get in the end zone. Verse would have had a crazy game if he was playing. He practiced. Verse could play. Verse might play. He practiced all week with no issues. He practiced all week. I'm just saying I would hold Verse out. No reason for him to tweak that knee or something, right? I would hold him out because you shouldn't need him. But Verse might play. I would actually not be shocked at all if Verse played. I would not be shocked at all if Verse played. 12 on the field is BBQ chicken. I'll try to tell him. Pat Payton gonna shut down a show out tomorrow. I would love to see that, and I think he's gonna have an opportunity to. Again, if they don't put Verse in there, then Pat Payton's the next guy up anyway, right? Yeah, Pat Payton, and D-Mac on the edges, and inside I would have Coop and Briggs. I would move Briggs inside. That'd be my starting D-line. Montre, I think you're confusing BC QB with Syracuse QB. No, last year we had a problem getting him on the ground. If you remember, he's a big boy. I think Montre he's correct. I don't think he's not saying that this guy's going to run for 100 yards. He's just saying that he's hard to tackle. At least that's how I read it. Because I remember last year's game against Boston College, and guys like Kier and some of these guys, they just couldn't get him down. He's like 6'5", bro. I'm pretty sure this guy's like 6'5", 240, man. I'm going to look it up. I remember Kier Thomas not hitting that guy square up and that guy not falling. And Kier could have had a sack. Phil Jerkovich. Yeah, man, the man's 6'5". He is a big boy. That's what I thought. He's kind of skinny, though. He's like 6'5", 220. That's still a big boy, though. $12 sacks. Ooh, what? Y'all crazy. It shows that this fan base is excited. Again, tell Kier Thomas that. Just go watch. They had problems sacking the man last year, is all I'm saying. They had problems getting the man on the ground last year. Which means he's probably strong. Strong. Exactly. As I said, they are excited to watch some real games. That's when you have a real fan base, this is what it's about, right? Oh, BC's giving up 12 sacks. Got you. Hey, it's true. Gregory is going to do something. He tweeted that. I don't know what he's going to do. He tweeted like he wanted to be a part of the program in some way. It'd be cool to see. It'd be cool to see. Vandarius Jacobs is my surprise commit in this class. What are you surprised about? That he's as good as he is, or that he's committed? Sold out dope will be a issue. That's what I'm saying, bro. Again, in the trenches, I don't think they can handle it. I'm actually more interested. I'm kind of more interested to see how if Tate plays, how he reacts to playing in front of that crowd. I think that's an interesting dynamic. It's gonna be the biggest crowd Tate's ever played in front of. Oh, the most underrated player. I got you. Those BC. I think when it's all said and done, he gets his 4th star. There's a lot of Florida State players that have never. Well, I'll take that back. That Notre Dame game was rocking like that last year. So outside of that one Notre Dame game last year, there's probably not a lot of Florida State players that have seen that type of atmosphere either, though. Jarrett Verse never played in that atmosphere like that. I think the defense will look better the next month. We have probably played 2 of the most athletic, fast QBs in the nation in the last 2 games. That's true, but that boy Schrader is going to be an issue. The Syracuse quarterback, he's going to be an issue. He was an issue for us last year. He ran all over us last year. Yeah, I forgot about the Miami game, Ben. That stadium was rocking that game too. Forgot about that game. Believe it or not, I forgot about that game. That shows you how much I don't think about Miami because I forgot about that game. So I like them. I'm not even talking about the win because uniforms don't affect the wins. I like the look though. Some people were like, "Oh, they should add a garnet or gold face." No, I like the way that helmet looks. You're not doing too much. I hate when like the Oregon uniforms. Yeah, they got a million of them, and some of them are dope. But some of them they just do too much. They got too much stuff going on with the metallic colors and the gold and the greens and the yellows. Some of the Oregon uniforms are flat out ugly to me. Some of them are real cool. Some of them are flat out ugly because they do too much. So I think the white helmets are perfect. You don't do too much. You don't need to throw a garnet face mask on it with a gold spear. I think you're doing too much. I think that's ugly personally. I like the all white clean look of the helmet. And I like the all white. I just want to get that in at home. I want to get that at home. I want to get a white out at home. I was hoping that they would introduce that uniform at home, and I hope one day next season. We got to look at some of the big home games for next season. Miami comes to town next season. You get LSU in Orlando. Now I know that's not technically a home game, but could we? I think Florida State fans. You see how they showed up in Louisiana. That Florida State fans gonna show up in Orlando. Could we get a whiteout in Orlando? I would love to see it. I want to see it in a home game. Florida's gonna have a tough season. Let's AR get it together. But yeah, Oregon hit on some, but others are way too much. They're gonna have fight. They're gonna have fight anyway. They hate us. Could the white? They probably don't pull that. Do you think? I don't think you make it a. How do I put it? I don't think you make this a recurring theme. You don't want to overdo it. I think the white helmet should be a once a year thing. I thought they introduced it at a good time against Louisville. Because I think they wanted to get those good feels around the uniform, so they chose it for a game that I think they felt comfortable trying to win. I don't think they do it again this year, so I say you wait till next year. You don't want to make it, I don't know. You don't want to make it like you're wearing that thing 3 or 4 times a year. But that's just me. I think you kind of want to make it special, make it a spectacle, right? Make it a spectacle. Duncanville has the number 1 edge in the country. I wonder if Drake is going there on because he's not from. Have you ever thought of a stripe out? Like one section wears garnet, the other white, and so on? That's something you should bring to the Florida State PR department. I never thought of it. Blackout in Doak. I don't know, bro. I'm not big on the black uniforms. I've never really been big on the black uniforms. I think the white uniforms are first of all, the white even without the helmet, Florida State's all white uniforms are the cleanest uniforms in the country. And of course, I'm biased on that, but I think Florida State's all white unis that is a clean look. Even with the regular gold top. I've always loved Florida State's all white unis. The white top just adds a different dynamic to it, but I've always loved the all white uniform. I've never really been a big fan of the all black ones. Sometimes it looks cool, I'm not really a fan of what throwbacks. Because like the old Florida State helmets, I'm not a fan of those. State of Florida on the side of it. Please, sorry I'm late. Didn't live high school game. Do we think of course we know we can win tomorrow. Curious? Come on, man. Do we think? We'd be blurry. Absolutely. The white joints are, to me, have always been, though they're just clean, man. The white uniforms have always been clean. The white uniforms are nice, but would like to see our black and white combos. Oregon has the best jerseys. They have a bunch of them, and some of them are really cool. Some of them are really ugly. Again, I actually love our unis this year, thinking about picking up a jersey. Mike Neville is really impressed with Jalen early development. What are your chances of seeing? No need to. I'm so happy he's happy with Jalen early. I'm so happy he's happy with Julian Armella. What do they need to play for? We don't need to see Jalen early. We don't need to see Julian Armella. We've said that from the jump, and we're gonna stick to it. Barring any more injuries on the O-line, no. They keep developing. Keep developing, but don't get on the field. I need my O lineman to sit a year, get strong, get big. Then come next year, if Jalen Early wins, may the best man win the position. May the best man win the position. But we've seen 5 years of what happens when you play offensive linemen way too early. They can't develop. We got a guy in Darius Washington who has gone through that trouble. FSU by 30, maybe. I don't think so. I think we win the game, bro. 30. I would love it. Don't get me wrong. I think you make a statement. You win by 30, you make a statement. Bro, Shakur, Boxing Monster, Shakur Stevens, is he Puerto Rican? Why has he got a Puerto Rican flag? He is not Puerto Rican. Am I lost? I'm tripping. I think, hey, Terrence, you know what? I think they might move Julian to right tackle, bro. That boy Simmons is coming. You talk about natural left tackle. I think that's the one. Bro, I did not know Shakur was half Puerto Rican, bro. I did not know that. But yeah, man, I think that's the show tonight. We went 2 hours strong. Briley says 38-10 with Tate 42. So Travis is only good for 4 points. This line is going to be a solid into. Oh yeah. He said true. Yeah, I think they might move Julian to right tackle when it's all said and done. Your boy's coming, man. Your boy's coming. But yeah, man, we went 2 hours strong. We still got 80 people in here, but I'm about done. Yeah, like VJ said, man, everybody hit that like button, guys. Everybody hit that like button. I got nothing else for the rest of the night. Of course, tomorrow, you already know. After the game, it's a primetime game tomorrow, isn't it? I believe so. I believe tomorrow is like an 8 o'clock game, if I'm not mistaken. Yeah, I'm pretty sure tomorrow's an 8 o'clock game, right? Yeah, 8 p.m. Is that 8 p.m. Eastern? So that means it's be 7 o'clock here, okay? Which means it'll get over, and I might be able to still do something after the game. So yeah, I might be able to still do a show and still be able to go do something after the game. So y'all already know 8 p.m., which means that game probably ends 10-ish o'clock. So we'll be live after the game, though. Win, lose, or draw, you already know where to catch me after the game. But I think everybody who came in tonight showed up, showed some love. Like always, man, if you didn't hit the like button on the way in, hit it on your way out for me. And as always, stay classy, Seminoles. It's your boy POLK over here on 863 Seminole TV. And we out here. Go Noles.